It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Episode 14 of the Two Guys and a Goalie podcast.
Hernan just pump faked it.
Hernan I thought my mic was on, but it wasn't. Now we're good to go. It's episode 14 of Two Guys and a Goalie. Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and look who's returned, the goalie, Joaquin Gage. Welcome back, Gager.
Thanks, guys. Good to be back.
Did you miss us?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I felt like I was missing out last Monday and Thursday. Yeah.
Did you ask anybody at your resort to do a podcast with you while you were down there?
No, there were Flames fans.
What?
Yeah.
Did they know who you are, or what?
We're not just an Edmonton podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we talk about all of the.
We're going to
teams
talk a lot
covered
about
by
the Flames
Information
today.
Network, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there. I roll in and I see a guy with a Flames hat and a Flames jersey walking into the thing. I'm
Oh, and
like,
a
oh my God.
jersey.
Yeah, and a jersey.
so he was serious.
full on. But it
He's
was
wearing a jersey in Mexico?
Well, it was in the evening. I didn't get into
Okay.
kind of the evening, but he's rolling down, and my son like bumps me, goes, "Dad, look," and I'm like, "What?" And my daughter goes, "Boo!" So it was pretty good.
Welcome to the resort, Gage family. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you got a nice little glow on.
Oh, I sat out in the sun a lot. It
Yeah.
was nothing but senoritas and margaritas. One of them was plural.
Did you have tequila sunrise at all?
No, my go-to.
That's my favorite one down there.
My go-to was just the lime margarita for the first little bit,
Okay.
but it got too sweet. I had to go tequila Collins for the next few days. And then I kind of went off that, and then it was just cerveza and shots of tequila.
Okay,
And then
straight up.
Yeah, no messing around anymore. I tried to get after it at least by 10:15.
In the morning or?
Yeah, in the morning.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, what time are we start? What's a tequila Collins? What was that? What did you say?
It's like a
It's like a Shirley Temple.
no. It's kind of like a lime margarita, but none of the
There's no
slush.
alcohol in it.
No
It's
slush.
just-
Oh, there's lots.
Oh,
Those
there's
guys.
lots. They don't mess around down there, eh?
The worst thing is when they start to get to know you because I'm throwing around tips like I'm a big wheel.
Yeah.
They were dollar American bills, but they asking me they asked if I could speak Spanish because as I got darker every day, I looked more Hispanic, and so the guys would look at me and say they'd speak Spanish. And I go, "No hables español," and he goes, "Oh, okay. Where are you from?"
What does that mean?
Canada. And I go, "Oh, Edmonton. Oh, I know someone from Spruce Grove." Everyone knew someone from Spruce Grove, it seemed like. And then they go, "Oh, so what's your name?" I go, "Oh, it's Joaquin." And then they'd go, "What? You don't speak Spanish with that name? What a poser." So, but it was, God, where do you start with that trip? That was awesome. It was just great.
Now, what did you say when you came in here? What did you greet us with? What did you say?
I just said, "Hola, muchachos."
Oh,
What does that mean?
Hey, guys.
Hola, muchachos.
Have you ever been to Mexico?
I've been to Mexico, but I was like 12.
Oh.
My wife speaks Spanish.
Does she?
Yeah.
Man, your wife's American, though, right?
Yeah,
So-
she's from Texas.
Man,
so
you
it's-
want to make about 8,000 Americans really mad? You put them in the terminal in Puerto Vallarta and just have two customs officials working. It took us 3.5 hours to get out of the airport.
To get out of the airport.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my
So,
goodness.
God, it was. I knew the fact I was going to be there for a while, and we just stood in a line and it snaked through the terminal. I saw marriages break. Everyone was just hot and bothered, but you could tell the Americans were so mad. They were all
You could
mad.
tell who were the Americans.
Oh my
and-
God! Like the Canadians, we kind of gave each other a little nod and go, "Yeah, well, don't worry, guys, we'll get there soon." But the Americans did not. They were just bitching and moaning.
They have no time for that.
Yeah,
eh?
oh God, it was funny.
No time at all whatsoever. It's not good look. No, so that sounds like partially frustrating.
It
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It was a little bit. I went scuba diving with my son. Like, yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do this at all, really. But then I had to go take a beginner's course with and it turned out the instructor wasn't hard on the eyes. I looked back at my wife and she was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, you want to do it now." But we got out. We went on an excursion to this island, and
Like on Survivor.
yeah, basically on this boat, and our teacher out there, I thought it was going to be the same girl. It was actually, this guy looked exactly like Borat, like Sacha Baron Cohen. Talked like him, looked like him. I was dying laughing everything he said. But that was awesome. My boy and I at 40 feet below the down, looking at all the fish and stuff. But then you take a lot of pictures when you're on vacation, and I have a real good self-image of my body. Like what I see in the mirror. I don't know what's up with my mirrors at home, but I thought I looked pretty good. But those pictures were really bad. Like I should have worn a shirt most of the time. Like it, and
Even while you're in the pool.
well, yeah, I didn't, but I should have. But then, so I thought I was in pretty good shape, and this island had tons of stuff, and they had zip lining, right? But
Oh, please tell me you weren't too heavy to go on the zip line.
I was too heavy to zip line. There you go. Oh, senor. And I was like, I couldn't go fishing. So then the kids and the wife are zip lining and stuff, and I become the Sherpa on a tropical island. I turned into... What's his name? I figured out who I was. I was Ben Stiller from Tropic Thunder. If there was a panda there, I would have killed it and worn it as a hat. I was just leaking, and it was a gross. It was a bad experience, and very humbling that I couldn't zip line because of my weight. And then my son showed me up one time. So it's the first time my son actually he showed his dad, who's the guard is definitely changing. We were at the party pool.
Okay.
And the they have the guide. He's dancing and telling everyone, doing all these games.
Come on
and
up
stuff.
here.
Yeah. So he goes, and I'm. It's about 3:00, so I'm pretty drunk by this point. And he says, "Free bottle of tequila," and I wake up from my drunken stupor and say, "Oh, tequila, free tequila! It's already free." But you had to swim underwater the lengthwise of the pool as far as you could.
Okay.
Right. So there was a bunch of people up there, and they looked like they're in good shape, way better shape than I am. And they couldn't, no one was getting anywhere. Like one guy, he was in really good shape. He went underwater. He was up in like 2 meters. So I was like, oh my gosh, I should maybe go over there and do this. So I go over there, and the same thing happens. He asks me my name, Joaquin, and you don't speak Spanish. I go, no, I don't. But I get under there, and I get to the far end, and I'm underneath. I'm feeling good, but then I'm just dying. So I knew I had to just get past just a little bit. Past the next guy, and I could see where he was because he had to stand where you were. And I get through, I pass him, I jump up, and everyone's, yeah, Canada, yeah. And then I look over, and my 14-year-old son's walking down the side of the pool, like he's ready to go.
Really?
And I go, uh-oh. And he taps the guy, and he goes, I'll go. And he goes, okay, how old are you? 17, 18? He goes, 14. He goes, geez. My son's quite big.
Yeah.
My son goes like a bullet. He's like Michael Phelps, goes under, boom, back, comes up, grabs the bottle of tequila.
Seriously?
Yeah, he won it. So he goes, well, I can't give it to you. He goes, well, give it to my dad. So he actually...
Who's your dad? Oh, that guy who's too heavy to zip line.
The guy with the guy that can't do anything. So
Joaquin's my dad. Yeah.
It was good because now we've got that bottle, and I told him we won't open it till you're 18. And we'll crack it.
Wow. Well, that's great. That's a cool story.
Yeah. Hey?
What a good dad.
Yeah,
hey.
that sounds great.
Fat super dad.
Yeah. Let's make a note. That could be the name of the episode. Fat Super Dad. Speaking of being a dad, you know how it's important on trick-or-treating night to sort through all the candy that your kids get to make sure there's nothing unsafe in there. And Cass, you've got
I found
a story.
something very unsafe.
Yeah, something that's despicable.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, like you remember when you were a kid and you'd like hear like there'd always be rumors. I don't know if it ever happened of like there's this person putting like razors in apples, or they're like putting drugs in the caramel, or like stuff like that. Well, if you can believe it, this is what these people, and I don't know which house it was.
Some sick bastards.
Some pretty sick people put in my kids' Halloween bags, and both of them, both the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old, they both got it. Wagon wheels.
Oh my God!
And I was gonna bring him here today and make you guys eat them.
I would have squished it on the floor. That's what I would have done. My goodness,
Those
who's giving out wagon wheels for Halloween? It's
Actually, probably someone that was
2019.
really trying to be really nice and sweet and like.
No, you don't know, Neil. You know what it is? It's somebody who had nothing, went to the pantry, dug around, found some wagon wheels that had been there since 2007, and decided to give them to your kids.
You know what? I'm going to take the thankful route here and say, you know what? They either didn't know what they were doing or they were just trying to be kind. But yeah, there was wagon
Dude,
wheels.
I saw them. Yes, I was gonna. My phone wouldn't work in Costco because I had to do the Costco run yesterday.
Oh,
just
okay,
getting back.
The worst.
Yeah, terrible. But there's a whole section of wagon wheels in there at Costco. Terrible.
I mean, I don't know who's doing all the purchasing for Costco, but that's a bad look. It's a bad look. All right, hey, it's the Two Guys and a Goalie podcast presented by OddsShark. We got off on a tangent there. That was great, though. I filled in on Halloween and wagon wheel jerks and
Went on a little
trip to
vacation with me.
Mexico. Yeah, that's great. Two Guys and a Goalie presented to you by OddsShark. Check them out at oddshark.com. Chris Abbott from OddsShark joins us every Thursday here on Two Guys and a Goalie. Also presented to you by Popeyes Chicken. Try the legendary Louisiana chicken today. And Sport Clips Haircuts will pay Keep It or Clip It again a little bit later on in this episode. It is episode number 14. We do have lots to get to. Gage, did you manage to keep tabs on anything happening in this sporting world down in Mexico?
It was weird because the Wi-Fi really wouldn't work, and I didn't want to roam like home, so I the only place it worked was the bathroom in our. But my son, he was always in there, and it was kind of cramped. I didn't want to actually sit in there in the bathroom with my son. But I kept a little bit of tabs. I watched some highlights and stuff, but not too much. I was drunk.
You hit the whole time.
Well, I didn't really know I was, but then I was. I definitely had way too much tequila, but it was fun. I was.
You'll go back for sure. You'll go back for sure.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, a few of the things that happened since we did our last episode, which was the Halloween episode with the one and only Tom Gazzola filling in for Joaquin Gage.
Yeah, that was...
You missed our Halloween episode. It was fun.
Next year. There's always next year.
Yeah, there's always next
year.
year.
If we're still around.
Hey, it's episode 14, so
we're doing real
almost
good.
there. We're almost
And it
there.
was your birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
thank you
man.
for remembering.
Oh, my gosh. That's great.
Thank you.
That's
Great.
33?
Yeah, I know.
Holy
He's just
smokes.
a baby.
Wow.
See, yeah, because you're older than me, right, Gage?
Oh, I'm ancient.
Yeah.
Old as rope.
You look like you're getting sad, realizing the cast is just 33.
Oh,
it was like
you
a
know what?
moment, like a reality check.
I was listening, taking the dog for a walk, and he said his age, and I was really glum.
Well, it's because I'm an old soul, so it seems like I'm way older than I am.
You're way more mature than I am.
That's like when I sit here when they were, and Belle was like, I'm only 33 or whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm the old guy on the podcast today. It was not good.
Not anymore.
Nope, not anymore. Old balls is back, so that's great. Okay, so the big story in the National Hockey League over the weekend was Milan Lucic. Cole Sherwood strips Lucic of the puck at the blue line, comes down, fires a shot on net. Riddick has it. Sherwood jabs at his pads, pokes at his pads pretty hard. By all accounts, the whistle hadn't gone yet, but it was one of those moments where you're getting a jab and the whistle's going to go, play's going to stop. Lucic comes in, turns him around, pops him in the face. He falls like a bag of rocks, and Lucic gets suspended for 2 games. I think there's only one way to start this, and that would be with Cassian, who may have had to
I
deal
did
with
watch
things
this,
in
so I did watch.
No, I mean, look, you're going to spear the goalie.
But is it a spear? That wasn't that much of a spear.
You're going to slash the goalie.
was like
You're
a
going to
poke.
touch the goalie. You have to understand that someone is not going to like it. And when you make eye contact with that someone and you see it's Milan Lucic, do you really think that maybe you should do something to protect yourself?
Like put your hands up.
Like put your hands up, create some separation, or just turtle if that's the direction you want to go.
Which is fine nowadays.
But like I heard on the thing, and I don't have a problem with him giving a suspension. I would have went for 1 game instead of 2 games. Like I'm fine with that for the punch. I don't think it was a sucker punch. Like you see that it's Lucic is coming. Like, come on.
you have to know.
You have to know that that's going to happen. You have to know that is going to happen. And yeah, I mean, I think the first comment I made to you when I walked in here today was like, yeah, Luch probably should have hit him harder.
Yeah.
Get your 2 games worth out of it.
Get a full 2
Because
games
it almost
out of
seemed from a punch standpoint, it wasn't like in a leverage standpoint, it wasn't like it was like a full-fledged, like he didn't hit him nearly as hard as he could have, or he would, like if it was if he threw a hard cross. And I mean, Sherwood folded. Like
he collapsed pretty good.
He went, yeah. And I don't know if he was just trying to sell it or whatever, like that he got hit in the face, but come on, man.
I think he was just mad because he had his pocket picked so bad at the blue line.
That added to it. That factors into it, absolutely.
Yeah, that was really embarrassing.
But you want to think, so here's the funny thing. You want to think next time if Lucic is back and they're playing Columbus and Sherwood is going, like, and Lucic has the puck, you think he's going to hesitate for just that split second before he goes to take that puck away?
But for the most part, he can stand there and Lucic will accidentally just slide.
Well, probably.
It to him,
Yeah. But
no, well, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, the hockey's changed to if
absolutely.
anyone touched the goalie, and once your hand is over that, you're fair game. Most guys, if they do that, they're immediately turning around and seeing who's coming.
Oh,
at
yeah.
them. Like
You
to jab it
Yeah.
and think it's okay. Someone's not gonna come cross check you
Or
like
grab you or face wash you.
But don't we see that play quite often though? In like almost every game, there's somebody jamming late at a puck. I mean, it happens. It happens quite often. This is not a one-off. Like I don't think the storyline here is like the storyline isn't Sherwood jabs Riddick because that happens all the time.
But
right?
it just
like
No, but
sure
no one else
is
you could have young kid isn't prepared to play hockey, gets punched in face.
Yeah, that's true
Like,
too. No, that's true.
Like you create separation, be aware of what's going on. Like you have whatever, maybe I'm a Neanderthal. I can't even talk.
Yeah, let's go with Neanderthal.
Neanderthal.
Yeah, that's good.
Ooh, Neanderthal.
But okay, so
Like,
but in today's game, how are you supposed to handle that then if you're Looch?
Okay, so in today's game, how are you supposed to handle someone spearing the goalie?
It wasn't a spear of the goalie. He was jamming at his pads.
So he speared him.
Gage,
Jamming his pads.
You're the goalie.
his hand was over the puck.
So yeah, like he wasn't even jamming at
If
the
it's
pads.
loose, I can see.
Yeah,
but
fine.
If you're doing it just to.
Okay, but would you classify that as a spear?
I classify as a spear. You have a weapon the equivalent of a weapon in your hand. So it's like a solid piece. I mean, now it used to be wood. Now it's composite. Like they could have splinters and chips on the front, like of the toe of the blade. And from a physics standpoint, you're taking, a high amount of force and you're putting it through a very small surface area, the toe of the blade. And you're jabbing at someone. Like
Check out the big brain on cast.
Neanderthal.
The Neanderthal just talked physics.
No, but if you just think about it, it's like it's a high amount of force through a small amount of area, and if that slips his pad, gets inside, or hits him, like that can actually cause an impact. Like what happens if it gets him in the hand? What happens if that gets him in his wrist? Right? Like I just go like, listen, if you're going to try to do that, and by all means, if your game is trying to score goals and to create plays, and you think there's an opportunity there, even with new goalie interference rules, where it's like if you spear the goalie and that goes in, guess what?
Yeah, we saw a pad push the other day.
That's getting called back. Like that used to be okay. Like they would allow those. They don't allow those anymore. So if you're going to do that, you're not doing it to score a goal because the goal's going to get called back. So why are you doing it? Well, it's to get a jab at the goalie, to make him uncomfortable and to cause some crap on the ice. And so if you do that and you don't expect someone to come in and at least give you a face wash and you're just kind of sitting there like, oh, I would think no one's going to do anything to me. And then you get dropped by Milan Lucic. Like, look at the freaking lineup, kid. Like, understand who's on the ice. Like, just understand who's on the ice. Understand what you did. I don't know. It just, like, again, I'm fine with the suspension for it. Fine. Not going to argue that.
If you're going to do something like that, you should be aware of it.
You should be aware of it. Be aware of it. Protect yourself. So I'm not like Lucic, whatever, it's a suspension. You go, you serve it. I think it should have been 1 game instead of 2 games. But he's got to be aware. Maybe he will be now. Hopefully he learned his lesson.
I think it's a slash. It's not.
Okay,
it's not a
slash.
spear.
Okay.
If it's in the body or in the glove and you poke at it like above the
up
above
higher,
the ice, then that's a spear. I would say that's more of a spear. But push,
So here's what. So you're going to go down in the butterfly position. You're going to go to cover the puck, and I'm going to go to slash you, and the front edge of my blade is going to go straight for your nether region because I missed maybe your arm or your wrist where I was aiming, and I catch you right inside where there's no padding on the inside of the pants.
a goalie will always be able to tell if the guy's trying to hurt him or going for the puck.
Oh, you get that sense?
Yeah, you'll know right away because guys on the outside of your glove, it's less protected. I'd play against guys that as soon as you'd cover it, that's where their stick would hit. They would try to hit your wrist, right? If a guy is coming in and he's actually, and you can tell by the angle of the blade too, like if he's trying to hurt you. So to me, I always knew what the guy was, and if I was late covering it, and of course, if it was a tough guy or someone trying to row things up, he would come, spray snow, hack and whack, and immediately turn around, right, and look for the contact.
He was using you as a way to get everybody else fired up.
Exactly. So that Cole. That's the name.
Yeah, Cole Sherwood.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
No, you just got to be. I mean, and the thing is he saw it coming. Mm-hmm. Like it's not even like he was standing there, like just still staring at the goalie, oblivious. It's like you turn up, you stand, and you basically drop your hands, and it's like.
You're right. But it's weird because I don't like people who have called it a spear but I can't believe some people are calling it a sucker punch.
Yeah,
No.
Which some
it's
people
not a
have,
sucker
and it's not a
He
sucker
saw it
punch
coming
at
the whole
all
way.
in any way, shape, or
I mean, if he
form.
would have been,
Yeah.
know his stuff, he would have slipped it.
Just a quick slip.
Quick slip to the
Look
side.
at that. Did you slip a lot of punches, or did you just take
I
them
was,
on
no,
the
I
face?
was pretty good.
Yeah?
I didn't get hit a lot. Like I was, for the most part. I mean, sometimes you're gonna get
Like
you're
in
gonna get,
fights,
you're gonna
you
get
didn't
caught.
get hit a
Yeah,
lot?
I didn't get hit a lot. Like I was
Now, is
pretty
that
good at it.
technique, or is that your size? Because you're such a
A
big
bit
guy.
of both, because I used my reach fairly well. So when guys were smaller than me, they didn't connect well, and if they did, typically it wasn't flush. Typically, I mean,
The odd time you get
odd time you're gonna get popped. So I was pretty good. Yeah, I didn't take too much damage. Only broke my nose once.
That's why you're still so smart.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
didn't actually get hit that much.
Did you ever
that's
go to
good.
the body?
Did I go to the body? I loved going to the
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
really screw me up, getting punched in the
Yeah.
body, not expecting it.
But I would do that. So if a guy maybe close distance or was going to try to just go in pure defense, which would happen, like guys would just, and I found that later as my career, and this no matter where, like so when I went to junior, or when I transitioned to pro, like in the minors, or when I transitioned to the NHL, it was like the first year or two, people were really open with the way they fought, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh crap, and then they started fighting really defensively. So you had to change what you were doing. So when guys would try to fight defensively and close everything off and just kind of have it be a wrestling match, that's when I would try to go to that.
Yeah.
Try to go to the body.
you
So
ever
I'm
get
like,
hit hard in the body?
I didn't really.
No?
No.
Did you ever catch someone and
Oh,
feel
I could feel a little bit.
Right in the solar
I'm just thinking like, I hope this guy's peeing blood in the morning. I didn't actually hope that, but
It's vicious.
Wow.
I mean, not actually. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Gage, did you ever get hacked or whacked and lose your mind? Like
All the time.
all the time?
Yeah. I'll post that YouTube video of me losing my mind. in Sweden.
Chasing the guy down when
Yeah.
you're staring in your father-in-law's eyes? That
No,
one?
this is a Sweden one. This is.
Oh, you
my-
actually lost your mind?
Yeah, yeah. I told the story of the fight.
Okay,
and,
that's what I thought, yeah.
So it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll have to track that down at some point. That's great. All right, so that was the latest with Looch. He's already served one game of the 2-game suspension. One more to go, and then he will be back for the Calgary Flames. You know, I will say this, though. I want one more question about Lucic. You see him. He's obviously struggled the last couple of years. Hasn't been contributing at all offensively in Calgary. Not that we expect him to a lot anymore. Has that turnover at the blue line, probably pissed him off. Comes back, sees an opportunity to go at a guy. He does. How difficult a spot, and I know it's easy to pick on Lucic, but Cass, how difficult a spot do you think he's in where I think he has to know that the game's passing him by?
yeah. I mean,
I know
I felt the same thing.
Yeah, so what's that like?
It's
Like,
it's not fun.
No.
The game's changing. People are changing. The style of the people are playing is different. So no, it's not so slowly going the way of the Buffalo.
I'm trying to justify it as him trying to prove he still serves a purpose. Like
Well,
that's what this was,
well, it's part of it. I mean, if you're not going to score goals and you're going to try to do something from an energy standpoint or from a protecting the goalie standpoint. And to be honest, I think there still is and can be a strong element of physicality to the game. Just look at playoffs last year, and I'm not talking just going and fighting people, but playing a hard physical game. And I bet you will see that again this year is players or teams that have the ability to play that physical game will do better in the playoffs than teams that rely purely on skill, because what will happen is everyone's going to clamp down and lock down on defense. They're going to put 100% absolutely into every night, which doesn't happen because players are in fatigue management and game management mode. And it's tough night in and night out over the course of the season to play that way. But in playoffs, you sell out and you do it every single time. And teams that only play with skill, it won't work. So, I think there's part of it where he's just trying to add value or to do something for the team from an emotional standpoint. But at the same time, I don't know. It's him just being upset and the guy spearing a goalie. And that would be my reaction too, is like a guy spears a goalie at the lead. I mean, I might give the guy another split second. Like I probably would give him a little left jab, and if he didn't do anything, then I'd hit him.
Yeah.
but that's me.
Just go to the body first.
Let's go to the body.
Yeah. Two guys in the
Head, body, head.
Two Guys in the Goalie podcast presented to you by Oddshark. You can check them out at oddshark.com. We'll get to our Popeyes poll question a little bit later on. Also, keep it or clip it for Sport Clips haircuts still to come here on episode 14. We talked about it a little bit on the podcast last week. Taylor Hall whining about the fans in New Jersey booing the New Jersey Devils even when they're in on games. I feel like that's Gager's opinion on it right there. But then the storyline kind of continued to develop last week when Taylor Hall scores a goal to give his team the lead, his second of the year, and he stands up and puts his ear up to the home crowd, puts his hand up to his ear in front of the home crowd. And then after the game admits that he thought he heard them booing him in the second period. So he was kind of, firing back a little bit in the third. What are you thinking? What are you trying to accomplish here, Gager, you think, if you're Taylor Hall right now?
He's just a jerk.
Really? I just don't think he thinks about that kind of stuff.
He's a selfish player, and he's worried about himself, and that's all there is to it. Worry about the hockey side of things. Your team sucks. You've got 2 goals. I'm so glad he's not here anymore. My research for the show, I see you're kind of in a war with Gregor over there.
I mean, Gregor and Hall are buddies, though, right? They're buddies.
He's got a bromance with Hall there. I don't know. What is that?
Like, they're friends. So, of course, I mean, local Jason Gregor from TSN 1260, he's going to defend Taylor Hall, but I get it because they're friends. Whereas I have no relationship with him, and I kind of just pointed out the obvious. And the thing that I thought was really weird, and maybe it's just because we're in this market here at Edmonton, but I said it's not a good look for Hall to be doing that to the crowd. Your home crowd. This is not going on the road and being like, hey, I scored on you guys. This is your home crowd when you scored your second game of the year, your second goal of the year. Your team only has 2 wins, and you're taking a shot at the fans. And there were so many people on Twitter, at least, maybe they're in this market, maybe they're not, who are like, Nielsen, if you thought he was taking a shot at the fans, you're delusional. I was like, are you serious?
I don't think you're delusional, but I don't necessarily agree with you. Taking a huge shot at the fans? No.
What?
Because I don't think he's thinking about that. Like, you think he's
yes, 100%.
Nah.
He said it after the game cast. After the game, he said, I thought I heard them booing me in the second period. So I was.
So let's get to what the intention is. Is like, what is the intended response from that? Like, is it to spite the fans or to say you're all a bunch of? I don't know.
Take it from me. I've been booed by more home fans than anybody, and I never did the Hulkster. I might have torn my shirt off, but I never did the Hulkster. Jeez, you don't act like you're bigger than the team. That's what I mean.
What was that? I mean, is that him acting like he's bigger than the team?
He's taking a personal thing and making it a big deal. When he's
taking a personal thing of getting booed, and he's saying,
like,
boo me now because I just scored a goal. Like, I don't.
That was a lucky goal.
Is that even a bad thing to be doing? Like,
to the home crowd?
I think it's bad for the team.
If you're gonna boo a guy and then he goes out and scores a goal and is like, boo me now, like, you think that's a bad thing?
How do you think that would go over here in Edmonton?
Oh, people would, but it's Edmonton. They would lose their mind. But I probably would still be sitting here and go like, well, yeah, you booed the guy, so what did you expect? You expect him to score and like walk up and like or skate up to the glass and be like, thank you for your boos. I appreciate them. It really motivated me to score that goal. Like, what do you want from him?
Yeah, but I want him to grow up a bit.
I'll tell you what I want as a fan. I want him to score goals.
And he hasn't.
So he scores one, and what? You want him just to be like, oh, dang, I scored a goal.
I want him to
skate back to the bench. Yeah, I want him to celebrate. And if he gives me this, you know what? If I'm a real New Jersey fan, like that wasn't booing, if I was one of the guys that wasn't booing, I'd be like, yeah, the guys that have been booing shouldn't be booing your home team anyways. Why are you booing the home team? Like, is that really going to accomplish anything? So you deserve.
Not the first time a home team's been booed.
No, I know. Yeah,
this is the first time a player's really made a big deal.
I think it's dumb when home teams boo their, like, you think the guys aren't trying, like, when you boo, like, to me, it's dumb. Like, I don't, like, boo the visiting crowd, great. Boo the referees, awesome. But
they've
like,
got 2 wins.
I know they've got 2 wins.
Hundreds of dollars to watch them play like
and so
shit.
you're gonna sit and boo, and then the player scores and is like, let me hear you boo now. Like, I just don't think it's whatever. I don't think it's a big issue or a character issue or whatever. Like, if PK Subban did the same thing, would we be sitting here being like,
here's the interesting thing. PK Subban's never even done that. Like, tell me one player in the last 10 years
that has done like to listen to a crowd.
Not at
celebration?
Home. Not at home. And not 2 days after saying that he hates that they're booing, right? Like, that's.
I think
that's the story.
I think that's a bad argument.
I think you might be right when you said he just didn't even realize what he was doing.
Well, the adrenaline's going and stuff, and he's all fired up because he.
Well, and he wants to hear the crowd cheer. Yeah. He's been hearing booing, and he wants to hear them cheer. And he scored a goal, and it's an exciting moment. He wants to hear them cheer. That's where I'm just like, I don't know. I think people
he came out after the game and said he did it because they booed him in the second.
Yeah, after he sits and thinks about it and has time for an answer. I bet if he would have asked them 2 seconds after.
Now, they said this week, or sometime here in early November, Hall and his agent are going to sit down with Ray Shero to talk about the future of him.
Well, he's not going back. Come on.
Well, that's because He's pissed off the fans. No, but what do you think happened? If you're New Jersey, why would you not trade him?
Oh, you're not. If you're not going to make the playoffs,
you're not
and you're not going to
make the
re-sign him,
playoffs.
yeah, you need to.
You got to move.
Just trade him straight up for Adam Larson. Hey, you know,
They can use him.
where's Chiarelli? Is he,
Yeah.
is he,
He's in
is
St.
he
Louis.
able to make
He's
any
helping with St.
decisions?
Louis, isn't he?
Does he have decision-making
Yeah.
power?
There's no way that
Trade him.
that's done though, right?
Trade
Like,
him straight up for Colton Parayko.
I would think he's traded before the deadline.
Oh, I hope so.
for sure.
I
That'd be
don't know.
interesting to see what
just
happens.
sit in the swamp and rot.
Could do that as well.
Yeah, you can maybe get Gregor a plane ticket. He can go console himself in the swamp.
A few other storylines that we've got to get to as we look across Western Canada here, and obviously our Nation network with all the websites that we have here with the Nation. Connor Hellebuyck had a huge game against the San Jose Sharks. We're going to get to that a little bit more coming up. I think the Sharks had 28 shots. I was watching this game on Saturday night. 28 shots in the second period on Connor Hellebuyck. As a goalie, if you had to face 20, you might have faced 28 shots somewhere in one period.
Oh yeah.
Do you notice how much work you're getting, or are you just so into it at that moment that you don't
It's a
even
lot
know?
easier to do than having 2 or 3. That's for
You'd
sure.
rather face 28?
Oh wow.
That's a
Maybe
lot.
not 28, but a good 20 shot period. You're busy, like because the puck, the ice is definitely tipped in the other team's direction, and you don't even have time to really think about anything. You're just so busy and focused on the puck. I found it way easier to stay in a game where you're getting upwards between 40, 50 shots than a one that you're maybe 10 or 15.
With the blue line in Winnipeg, we talked about this a ton this year. I think a lot of the discussion was they're going to need Connor Hellebuyck to have a pretty good season, Cass. And that was one example, but I think overall so far this year he's played relatively well. Although I think they were pushing him a little bit with Laurent Brossoit a couple of times to try to get him going early in the season, but
Oh, that's not good.
That was my iPad. Hernan, what's the damage? Hernan, just tell me.
Well, right now it's like face down on your screen. So I can't see it.
That's
I
bad.
don't even want to know.
Oh,
That
wow.
fell on a cement floor. It fell out of its case.
Hey, put up the poll question. Is Dusty's iPad smashed right now?
Amazing.
You okay?
Wow.
It didn't get smashed at all.
Do you not have like a protective backing on it?
Yeah, I do, and it fell off too. It's
Oh.
not very protective at all. Yeah. God, that was
Maybe that's why it saved it.
All right. Yeah,
that's
you're right.
great.
Maybe that saved it. That would
Nice.
have sucked.
That
That would
was
not have been good.
close.
What were we talking about?
Wow.
Oh yeah, Connor Hellebuyck. Anyway, he's looking good so far.
Well, much like the iPad case.
Yeah.
He's falling off a little bit at times, but he's
Saved
making
the
the
day over the
saves.
weekend.
I think I saw Buff down on a beach there. I'm pretty sure. Well, it was from a distance. He was a big dude.
Really?
Yeah, he was selling stuff. Yeah.
What's Dustin Bufflin doing?
He's selling this
things.
jewelry stuff. I'm pretty sure that was Big Buff. God, I should have bought something from him.
That's a nice retirement plan.
Hey, well, guy's got to do what a
Hey,
guy's
yeah,
got
you
to
get
do.
some extra income there. Yeah.
He's going to get to see you once a year now, I think.
Yeah.
I think you'll be going back down. All right, the Edmonton Oilers goaltending. Mike Smith, speaking of guys who were busy. Hellebuyck had a great game over the weekend. Earlier on Saturday, Mike Smith stopped 51 of 52 for the Edmonton Oilers as Draisaitl would eventually score in overtime, and that became a big part of the story because he's clutch in overtime. But Mike Smith stopped at 51 of 52. Gage, how does a team come out of that game? How are you feeling coming out of that one? Because you got absolutely peppered and owned the entire game, managed to kind of try to hang on to a lead late. Goaltender's doing everything you can, and you eventually come away with it.
There's no better feeling than the feeling Mike Smith had after that game. The only reason you become a goalie in the first place is that thrill of bailing out your team. And I always loved the fact if going into especially a visiting arena and them thinking the home team scored a goal and they're like cheering and then like, oh, the sighs and the groans, and you feed off that. And after the game, everyone's coming up to you, they're so thankful of the performance that you just put forward. That's why you play a team sport, in my opinion. There's no better feeling than being a huge part of a win like that, where you basically put the whole team on your back and got a victory.
So what you're saying is goalies are a bunch of narcissists.
Oh yeah, yeah. We like the spotlight.
You guys have to. You guys are all weird.
That's a good time. I've heard
But it was
goalies
great.
called
It's-
weird before, but
it
I don't
was,
know if I've heard them called narcissists.
It's awesome. I remember that feeling distinctly a few times.
Koskinen's also off to a really good start. Let's bring up your Popeyes chicken poll question today. And that would be, which Oilers goaltender is more likely to maintain their hot start? Mikko Koskinen or Mike Smith? Cass, the floor is yours. What do you think?
I'm going to go with Mike Smith. And the reason I'm going to go with Mike Smith is I just think he's still more technically sound than Koskinen. Like, Koskinen's been a lot better this year from a habits, from a, not oversliding, has been under a lot more control with his body, like when he's pushing across the net. But even early on in the season, I still saw some inconsistencies in what he was doing. So if someone's going to go back to old habits, it's going to be Koskinen, where Smith has been from a technical standpoint, he hasn't changed too much the last couple of years. But I think he's very motivated and excited to be out there. So I think if anyone keeps it going, I think he keeps it going. And if we see someone tail off a little bit, it'll be Koskinen.
Gager?
I have to disagree with Cass.
Really?
Yeah, no, I totally disagree with him. But I think that Koskinen's way better technically. I with Smith, I have to eat my own words with Smith because I wasn't a huge fan of him. I think
Like the signing, or just ever a huge fan of Mike Smith?
No, I wasn't a huge fan. I just thought he played too deep and just was on his belly more than anything. But I have become a fan just because he's more of an old school goalie with his battling. Like that's what keeps him in plays. Like he never ever seems to give up, and I hate to say it, but being that far back in the net gives him the opportunity to make those maybe second and third save opportunities. Whereas if he was playing up a little bit higher, then so obviously he's a smart goalie. But I don't think that Smith can sustain this level. Just the age, the amount of time he's played. Koskinen, I think he does better when the other guy pushes him. I think if I'm just going to go on last year, Mikko looked really good when Talbot, they were going back and forth. I think he plays better when he has someone pushing him a little bit better. But
and doesn't have to carry a heavier
and doesn't
workload.
have to carry it. So and to have that competition between the goalies, you don't want to think, oh, if I don't win, I'm not in next game. You just want to put a good performance through and give your team a chance to win. But I think Koskinen is I think he's working really well with in a platoon system and has someone else. He needs someone else to push him.
Well, I agree with he needs someone else to push him, and he's been working well in the platoon system. But where you say that he is better technically than Mike Smith, I will go, on what planet is he better technically than Mike Smith? Like, how many times have we seen, like, we talk about the glove hand, right? Where he seems to maybe sorted a little bit of that out. I don't think it's because he has a bad glove hand. It's because he overslides and overpushes and isn't in the right position. So it's like, yeah, okay, you can make an argument that Mike Smith plays too far back at his net at times. And yeah, he tries to make up for it with athleticism and making those, the sprawling Dominic Hasek style saves. But when Koskinen isn't perfect, he is way out of position from the shooter.
Every
like,
goalie though.
But for him, it happens often. Like, that's why his glove hand, we talk about, or people complain about, like, oh, he's got such a bad glove hand. It's like, it's not his glove hand that's the issue. It's his angle and his positioning to the shooter that's the issue. And again, he's been better at it recently. But in preseason, I saw the old habits in there. At the start of the season, I saw sometimes that the old habits were in there, and they made it through some of those games based on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl scoring a whole bunch, and James Neal in the power play running at like 45% or whatever it was running at. So I just can't see where you would say on the technical side that he's better or has been better.
It's just the way I look at it.
Okay, it's you know what, you're entitled. You know what, you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but I look at the economy of movement. It take for Mikko to get to certain spots.
Neanderthal.
Yeah. To get to certain spots on the ice from a certain position, he gets there a little bit, in my opinion, quicker. And
then he goes 2 feet too far.
Well,
sometimes,
but yeah, when he's doing it properly, he makes himself bigger and takes away more net than Mike Smith, where maybe he's a foot back and he has to make, on the second save opportunities, he has to do something special, where Mikko, a lot of times he doesn't have to move at all. That's the economy of movement that I'm talking about. But
great debate. That was a great Popeyes chicken poll question. Try Popeyes legendary Louisiana chicken today. Did you post it on Twitter, Hernan? Did we have that out there?
Yeah, I sure did. I'll
Yeah.
give you the results
I'd like
here.
to see the results. I think I don't know. I think it's gonna be close.
Right now, we got about, let's see here, 81 votes in, and Smith is leading the way with 56%.
Oh, it was close, yeah. So you guys both had a good case. Huh?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike Smith. I said some bad things about you, but you're pretty good.
Well, Koskinen's good too. I
he's good.
apologize, Koskinen. I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
You've been playing extremely well. You've had a great season. You're doing way better than I expected to.
And I think I said at the beginning, I think Edmonton, just geographically speaking, they need 2 goalies.
You
They
did
can't-
say that, yeah.
Yeah,
Travel.
good time. Yeah, that I get.
All right, let's play Keep It or Clip It for Sports Clip Haircuts, home of the MVP experience, where it is good to be a guy, with a location here down in Ellerslie in Edmonton. So if you're local and you're listening to this, you can slide on down to Sport Clips Haircuts. I was down there last week, and that's why I'm so good looking right now. All right. Well, thanks for the comments, guys. Appreciate it. All right, here we go. Milan Lucic will play out the rest of his contract in Calgary. Keep it or clip it. Could be bought out along the way, right? There's
How many more
options
years
here.
does he have?
At least three. Hernan, could you check that?
I'm going to say clip it. I think he gets bought out before the end.
You think so?
Yeah. Not yet. Like, I think they probably got another 2 years, and then maybe they bought out the last
Like
year.
just
or
near
two.
the end of it?
No, I think clip it. I think he retires after this year out of shame.
All right, question number 2. November is the worst month of the year. Keep it or clip it.
Clip it. I'm going to go with March.
Why March? Lucic
it's
has
like
4 years left. by the way.
March is soggy. Like it's still kind of winter, and it's wet and it's gross, and then everything you get like started to smell like snow rot. It's like it's not quite spring.
But it's almost Easter. Sometimes it is Easter in March.
Yeah, but usually that's April. So I feel like, I don't know, like November at least is like November. I can look forward to Christmas. My mom's birthday is in November, so I like that because I love my mama.
American Thanksgiving, you got
American Thanksgiving,
wife.
I
Oh,
got
yeah,
American
that's
wife,
good.
American, so I get an extra Thanksgiving, even though it's not real Thanksgiving. Historically, Canadians had their Thanksgiving first. I'll just point that out for any Americans.
Double
listening.
turkey.
But yeah, double turkey. I don't mind November.
Gager, what about you?
Oh yeah, clip it. I love November. You get the shows, like the Thanksgiving shows, like the
Football playoff?
no,
Are you
like
not-
Friends, like the Friends Thanksgiving episodes. Those are great.
With the turkey on the head?
What, is that like a thing?
Great episode.
Great
Is like Friends like have famous
Even
for
you know,
Thanksgiving episodes?
even you know that one. That was
Commercials and stuff, and
good. There's nothing going on in November, but the American Thanksgiving, that's right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
You guys
Football,
make a good
yeah,
point.
no.
Football,
Football's
yeah.
good in November.
That's your Grey Cups in November.
great cup.
Yeah, it's all in November. All right, Connor Hellebuyck is a top 7 goaltender in the National Hockey League. Keep it or clip it. I had a hard time figuring out what number to put there.
Yeah, I think that number's right. I would go with that. He was up for the Vezina.
So you're keeping it?
I'm going to keep it. I think he is a top goalie when he's on his game. I mean, when anyone's on their game, they're good. So
it's just a matter of being on your game more often than somebody else,
just,
right? Like,
I think I'm worried about the D, but if he can provide consistent goaltending, I think the Jets will be okay.
I'm gonna say keep it, and I think he falls right into that 6-7 slot, and I think so. Just even based on this year and the patchwork defense that they have, and he still has managed to be really consistent. So I'm gonna keep it.
all right, next one. And we don't know about Quinn Hughes if it's going to be long-term or not, but he had that weird little injury, and then he missed a game. A Quinn Hughes long-term injury would significantly hurt the Canucks. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it.
He's that good already that...
Well, I think as you see with a lot of first-year players, especially good players, they catch a lot of teams off guard because they just haven't seen them anymore. There's not as much video on players at this point. I think he just provides a different dynamic from the back end that the Canucks haven't had in a long time. So, yeah, without him, I don't think that it lowers their chances of winning for sure.
They're off to a great start, too.
Yeah, I think he's pretty dynamic.
So you're keeping it, too?
I would keep it too. I think when I look at that team and I look at the defense, like they're pretty. Again, we've talked about how even they seem to be, like even keeled. Like they're really There's no huge deficiencies in their game.
It's a good mix.
It's a good mix, and I think taking him out of the mix is having that offensive defenseman that really jumps in, and teams have to pay attention to. Like they're going to talk about him before games. Like he's going to be part of your pregame assessment. Your, hey, watch out for him. He's going to do this. Hey, he really likes to jump in here. Hey, like this is what he's doing off the faceoffs. Like you have those conversations, and I think other teams have those, or would not be surprised if they have them about Quinn Hughes. And so I think it's going to be pretty impactful if it is long term.
Side question: how many defensemen do teams have those conversations about?
Anytime you have a guy like a Quinn Hughes or like a Brent Burns,
But not like every game. Like there wouldn't be.
No,
there's
not
They're
every
circled like on the list of the
they'll be
lineup.
circled,
There's a big circle.
But it's not one on every team, right? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like
Not
is he that
necessarily.
unique sort of thing?
Yeah, like for example, just to go because I think he's still underrated and a guy we don't talk about often, like a Ryan Sutter in Minnesota, where it's like he's a really good defenseman, but you're not like, well, he could just do something absolutely crazy. It's like, well, no, he's a really good defenseman. He's going to be defensively. He's going to contribute offensively and move the puck well. But you're not like, hey, he's going to do something absolutely crazy. You need to be aware of where he is at all times. Where guys that have the offensive punch or jump, like Carlson, I know isn't having a great season, but like a Carlson or a Burns, those guys you need to be aware of.
We're playing Keep It or Clip It for sports clip haircuts. Let's go with this one. After 3 shooters, NHL teams should be able to repeat shooters in the shootout.
I don't like it. Clip it. Like I clip it. It because it's depth on the team. Like I get where you want to.
Because the Toronto Philly had like a 8-rounder or
and
something.
it makes it interesting to me because you're getting to the meat of the lineup. Like, and by meat I mean like guys like me. Like
So you're only answering this question thinking that one day you would have
one
shot.
day I would have shot. I was, you know what, that game in Montreal when I scored first 2 goals of my career. Like we went to shootout. That was the shootout when Devin Setaguchi blew a tire and fell on his back.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was told, because that one went a whole bunch of rounds too, that I was next up. Yeah.
So they lied to you.
I think he was lying. Yeah, Mike Yo. I don't think he was telling me the truth, but he patted me on the shoulder. He's like, "Cass, you were next up," and I was like, "I'm just gonna choose to believe you right now."
Appreciate
That's
that.
probably not true.
But leave you feeling good. Gager, what are you going for this one?
I say keep it. I want to see McDavid go 4 times.
Like imagine if it's McDavid versus Price again, and again and again. Like
wouldn't that be great? Like Crosby and McDavid back and forth, scoring. Like that's or getting stopped. Whatever. That I would like to see that. I think he should have the option.
I think I'd like to see him go again as well. Sorry, Cass. I mean, my vote doesn't matter, so it's a split for you guys. A leaf blower is money well spent. Keep it or clip it.
Clip it. Just use your mower. Mulch it.
Oh, I thought this was a different question. I was thinking, why would anyone buy a Toronto fan?
So you just mulch it with your mower. And
Oh yeah, and it just goes in. I don't even have to do it. Like it just, you gotta wait. You gotta make sure
you don't
the leaves
even
are
rake
dry.
it all. You just
If you got a good mower that mulches well, and then you just gotta they have to be dry for it to happen. I put on my little breathing mask because it gets kind of dusty.
Oh wow.
Like just the one you'd see the people wearing at the
Yeah,
airport.
like when you're painting and stuff.
Yeah, or when you're painting, not like a high tech one, but just so it's I get less dust in my mouth, and yeah, go for it.
Gager, what about you? Would you spend money on the leaf blower?
I'd like to, but I won't. I'll mow that stuff.
There you go. It's way easier.
I was only asking because I wanted to borrow one. I thought one of you guys might have had one. So
My neighbor's got a great one. Shoot, I'll probably just steal his.
all right, next question. The San Jose Sharks need to make a trade. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it.
They are still at 9 points.
Yeah, no, they need something. Maybe Taylor Hall will help them out. Get that anchor on the team.
I'm going to trade Taylor Hall straight up for
Martin Jones.
Martin Jones or Hurdle the Turtle.
Greg will have to move to San Jose.
Actually, his nephew plays for the San Jose Sharks.
There,
That's,
double connection. They
nice
can have a
family
big
tie there.
family.
He's going to be a good
Yeah,
player.
Is he?
He was
Yeah.
good in the junior too, and it's good to.
Noah's going to be a good player.
Yeah. Now, what do you do then, though? Like honestly,
You
that's
have to
side
make a
question
trade.
there again.
You got to make a trade.
But
I'm
what
keeping it.
What are you doing?
I don't know. You got to do something.
But you need a goalie. You can't
Yeah,
go out
you
and
need
just
a
find a
goalie.
goalie.
But is it just the goalie
I
though?
think so.
Yeah.
You think it's just the goalie?
Well,
You
they
don't
had
think
28 shots in the second period against the Jets.
so? It wasn't their ability to score goals on those shots.
Well, I was just giving Connor Hellebuyck love there, but yeah, you're right. I think it's the goal. Both
I think
those
it's
goalies have
goal scoring.
Sub 8. No, they have sub 890 save percentage.
When your goalies are struggling, I mean, we've seen goalies struggle here. The whole team changes. Like the way, I look at Darnell Nurse now compared to the last few seasons when he doesn't try to do too much, it seems like, anymore. He stays within kind of his limits. That's why I think he's doing so well, because he has confidence in the guy behind him. I think that's huge.
See, I disagree, because I think Darnell Nurse, where he has improved with maturity, is not that he has confidence in the goalie behind him, but it's because he's learned how to be patient in his own end.
But
because when he first came in, it was an automatic 150-mile-an-hour bull rush. Just a guy straight in the corner who would use the momentum or slip or slide off of him, to the side, and then he gets beat back to the front of the net because his momentum's all going one way, and the guy steps off and walks around him. That's, in my opinion, on Darnell.
I see it if it's a short 2-on-1 out of the corner. I would see him be indecisive.
Right. But is that goaltending, or is that just maturity?
I think there's just, okay, you know what? My goalie's got this. I can take this pass away instead of that backdoor easy tap.
So you can make more confident decisions.
It's obviously maturity is a huge factor, but I think your goalie knowing that he's got your back too helps. Too.
I'm not going to disagree. It absolutely helps from a defensive standpoint and from defensemen. But what I think where it builds, and for the San Jose Sharks, is that you have. And I'm trying to pull it up, and it's loading slow because we're in a dungeon, so we don't get. But trying to pull up the the goals for and like the shooting percentage for the San Jose Sharks. But I think that when you're not scoring goals, all of a sudden you try to do things that you shouldn't be doing to score goals, which then all of a sudden exposes your defense and exposes your goaltender. And if the goaltender is not stellar, and Martin Jones has not been stellar, then it just kind of snowballs from there.
I've got the Sharks' least your goals for number that you're looking for. They've got 36 goals for. It's the fewest amount of goals in the division.
Yeah.
They've allowed 56. Only the Kings have allowed fewer. So they've allowed 56. In comparison's sake, Vancouver's allowed 34.
But it's a goal
and
scoring.
Arizona's only allowed 28.
Jeez.
It's a goal scoring. I'm telling you, we just look, even just to go, I mean, we see Edmonton more than any other teams, but look at the way they play or how different it is when they score first versus getting scored on first. Like it completely changes the way you play a hockey game, and I think for the San Jose Sharks, their offense just hasn't been there, and that to me is the number one problem. So if we're talking about what to do to fix the Sharks, before I'd trade for a goaltender, I'm trading for a forward that can score goals,
like Joe Pavelski,
yeah, or Taylor Hall.
All right, Leon Draisaitl will finish with more points than Connor McDavid. Keep it or clip it. I thought this would be an easy one, but
it's not an easy one.
Well, I'm going to say clip it, but got to be great if he did.
Oh yeah,
we're looking at 250 points between two guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
You have to say clip it, but it is interesting that we had to think about it.
Yeah, the hesitation said enough. That's right. All right, Freddie Anderson somehow flies under the radar in Toronto.
Yeah, if without him, they're making tons of deals and blowing everything up. He's keeping them afloat.
But you don't really nobody ever talks about Freddie Anderson.
The only guy that does is Don Cherry. Don Cherry loves Freddie Anderson. He always says he's the best goalie in the league, and I mean
he's a really good.
He's
goalie.
really. I mean he's top 5. I would say for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say keep it. Absolutely keep it.
I find it kind of unbelievable that anybody could fly under the radar in that market, but he kind of does.
Well, because you have so much other stuff going on, Captain Underpants, and
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Freddie Anderson's a ginger.
He is.
Yeah, so
that's probably why.
He's like a different build for a goalie too. He's most of them are quite slender and tall. Like he's built like a linebacker.
Well, I
Gage
was
is checking him out.
I was told before
Beefy
he
shoulders.
kind of really got into North America, one of the things holding him back was that he was heavy. He was out of shape.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to get in shape,
Yeah.
and then you'll be able to play at this level. And
I watched a little
worked out.
little thing on him because he's from Denmark, right? So
I believe so. Yes.
yeah, he was walking around. I was like, wow, look at the build on that guy.
Okay. All right. Final one for keep it or clip it. A real man puts on his own winter tires. Keep it or clip it.
Before I answer this, you have to tell me what's a man? Can you define it for me, please?
Oh boy.
What's a real man?
Left
Define
to
it.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody who puts on their own winter tires, I guess. No, do you guys put on your own winter tires?
No,
No.
I don't have winter tires.
No, I don't, and I don't because I don't have space to keep them in my garage.
Oh.
So it's like I have them at the tire place. They store them for me, and so
You store your tires at the tire place?
yeah, they
That's
do
a
it for
thing?
me. Yeah, it's a thing.
How much do they
The winter
charge you?
tires. It's like $75.
For the whole year
Yeah.
to store your tires there.
Yeah,
He's
so
saving
they-
money on all the booze he's not drinking.
That's
Exactly.
wild.
It's not that. I don't think it's that excessive. Like for me, it's kind of like, well, you go, like you call them when you make your appointment to get everything switched.
And your tires are just there.
They're there. They switch them. They take the old ones. They go put the old ones in storage again. You don't have to have like a 4-pack of tires sitting in your garage.
See, because I have a local company that comes to the house and does the tires right on my driveway.
Yeah.
It's 2 vehicles, but I have to haul all 8 tires out of the shed, leave them out front, then haul them all back again.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of what's nice because they come to the house.
Yeah, what's nice, and you don't have to,
great,
like,
bud.
the appointment, and it's easy, but at the same time, like, because I have to drive to do it, but it's like if I book my appointment at the right time, I just go and I sit and I have my coffee, and then I'm good.
Reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
Can you just leave them outside, tires? Might as well, hey? In the backyard?
Yeah, is that
I guess
gonna
you could.
wear
It depends if you have rim on them. Like
Yeah.
rims, like probably depends on the rim, like the steel. The rubber, I'm sure if you took them right off the rims would be fine.
I might have to get winter tires.
You don't have a shed?
Nope.
I don't have one either.
I always want one. Every time I go to Costco, I want
You
that.
know what? If you guys ever want a shed, I'll help you build it.
Sweet. That's a real man.
Yeah.
That's a real, that's that is our definition. If you can't build your own shed,
Before we wrap up, I wanted to point to something. I was checking out our podcast page today at Apple Podcasts, and somebody gave us a 1-star rating, which is unbelievable.
Really?
well, that's just they're trying to, because we talked about giving us ratings and how we got this 5 stars. Someone's like, I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna be the one that put a 1-star rating.
So you don't think they're doing it to be jerks? You think they're trying to do
no,
it
I'm
to
doing
be funny?
it. They're doing it to be funny or to be jerks. They're not doing it because they're like, oh, that's actually a 1-star podcast.
You don't
Because
think
come
so?
on. Come on.
If I was listening to us, I'd at least be 3.5 stars.
And you round up all the time, right? So at least
Yeah,
4.
exactly.
I've given us no less than 5 every time I vote.
All 50 times.
That is good. As we get set to wrap up episode 14 here, are we going to go with Fat Super Dad?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a
That's
good
a
name.
great title.
man.
Episode 14, Fat Super Dad, and they won't even know which one we're talking about.
It could be any. They're going to have to listen to find out.
That should be the poll question. Who is the
Who's
best,
the real
fattest
fat
super dad? You know?
Oh, we can remember
Oh,
that
I
one
couldn't
for future.
zip line.
Yeah,
No
that's
zip
good.
lining for us.
God, buddy, that's
It was
tough.
so bad. I had to get on the scale. And the girl was like,
no.
"Oh, yeah." The
No.
scale was there. It was
That's
like,
bad.
It was so bad. And then I just got loaded up with all our crap. Oh, jeez.
See, that's I know that's the case. I once tried to go ride the roller coaster at West Edmonton Mall, and it wasn't a fat issue. I was too tall.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
those, yeah, they're
so I had to do
uncomfortable.
the walk of shame past
Yeah.
everybody, and I know they're thinking you're too heavy, and I wanted to say I'm too tall. Like, that's what I wanted to say, but
Oh, my
it's just something you
gosh.
have to deal with, man. I pretty much in my life I know I'm never gonna zip line,
Yeah, no. I got to
which is tough.
do something. Maybe I'll go dry this month. How's
Cass is
that
doing it
working
again.
for
No,
you?
he's doing it again.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2 months.
Yeah, I know.
Do 2
I
months in a
listened to
row.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah?
We had a work event at the Science Center here in Edmonton, Tellus World of Science.
Yeah.
Like we were sponsoring it, so we had a work event and
You know what? The cafe at that place is great.
yeah, the food is great. They do actually a great job of a lot of stuff. And the event was wonderful. But it was like I was like, man, it would be nice to go grab a glass of wine or have a beer, and I was like, no, I'll have a Sprite. And the waiter guy kind of looked at me. I'm like, it's just a Sprite, man. And he goes to hand me the bottle of Sprite. I'm like, no, don't give me the bottle. Like, can you pour it into a glass? Just pour it
Walking
into a
around
glass.
a nice event with a bottle of Sprite.
bottle of Sprite. I'm like, this is supposed to be classy. The invitation said business casual.
I'm going to be master of my domain this month.
That'd be good. You should do it.
Good for you.
I can keep you accountable. I'll send you a text.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check in.
Check out my sponsor.
Hey, man, it's okay to do it.
That's nice. That's good.
That's good.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 14 of Two Guys and a Goalie. Episode 14, Fat Super Dad. Good to have Gager back. For Hernan Salas, Matt Cassian, and Joaquin Gage, I'm Dustin Nielsen. Episode 15 will be happening on Thursday. Make sure you join us for that. And once again, if you are listening to the podcast, give us a nice ranking. Not a number 1. That's devastating. Thanks for listening.